Which one?
Was this story about retirees and the Naval Base Guam commissary?
Yes.
Right, and so actually I have one of the retirees who was there on the scene Saturday morning. Want to bring up on the show, retired Army First Sergeant Manuel Junior Regis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Off a day, Manuel.
Can you just take us back to the beginning? So in the story we did, you guys showed up because in anticipation of these huge lines, because we could only go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You guys show up to kind of like get a head start on waiting, and then just tell us what happened Saturday morning when you showed up at 7 a.m.
Copy. We all showed up, or about 15 retirees, ex-military, disabled, and seniors arrived at the commissary around 7 o'clock in the morning. We all got our carts lined up 6 feet apart, mask on, gloves on. There is no sign. This whole situation could have been alleviated if there was a sign stating that nobody is authorized in the parking lot at such a time, or even put a blockade on the entrance. But none of that was implemented. We all arrived around 7 o'clock time frame, and then the security guard came around 8:30 and said, we're not allowed on the parking lot. Our first question was, why? And why wasn't any sign or blockade installed prior to us arriving? And also, why weren't those security guards there when we are arriving so they could tell us we're not allowed to come in and blah, blah, blah. They waited for us to be all in place, about 10 to 15 retirees, all set up, and then they came in and told us we're not allowed on the premises. This pandemic, and I understand, it's a stay-home type thing, wash your hand and all that good stuff. But this thing has been going on, and I cannot believe that they don't have any plan that if we arrive early, that we could park somewhere else, lined up or whatever. We're all senior NCOs in our time. We all know rules, and we've been following rules and regulations for our entire career, 24 years for myself. And sometimes we make rules, and we abide by all rules. If there was a sign or if it was blockade, we would have known to go somewhere else. Then my next question is, so where do we go? And this individual says they don't care where we go.
Whoa.
Come on, man. You got to have
Whoa.
a plan. You don't care where we go? Are we going to parade around base? Now, some of us, and most of us, do not know that the commissary don't open till 10.
Mm-hmm.
We understand it's open for seniors at 10, but we didn't know that the whole commissary is not open until 10. So we sat there. I mean, come on now, man. We're there since 7 o'clock, and we just decided to what the heck, man? Where we're going to go. Mm-hmm. So we just sat in the parking lot, set our carts and everything else, and then they came to tell us this. It's just so frustrating that they got to have a plan of something else or thereabouts.
So,
like I say, we're all senior citizens,
right.
And we're all senior non-commissioned officers in the United States Army.
Yeah. This is something that I know that my daddy's retiree also, and I could just hear him too being very angry and very upset. And my dad's the same way. If he opens at 10, he'll probably be there at 7. I'll probably be the one driving, waiting in line, because he likes to, he anticipates, there's going to be a line, so we have to get there early.
Right.
And I can see hear the frustration, and it's really unsettling that they would tell you they don't care, where you go, just go.
Yeah, come on, man, give us other than they don't care where we go.
Anywhere but here.
Yeah, anywhere but the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we asked, can we just go in our car? I mean, I don't know what's the whole big deal about not being there. So can we just go in our car and wait until the commissary opens? No, we got to go. And, you know, I was surprised that there wasn't nothing bigger than that happens, because remember now, most of these guys been to several wars, and they all got PTSD, but we just suck it up like we always do. We follow rules, by God Almighty, man. You know, like the old army saying, a fucked up plan is better than no plan at all.
Oh.
That's messed up, man. Yeah. But, you know, you're dealing with Navy, so I don't know. My wife called the duty officer to find out any other information. Would you believe the duty officer does not know anything?
Wow.
It's just embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
Our governor opened our island for these 3,500 sailors to come to do their 14 days quarantine. I wasn't in agreeable of that and all that stuff, but yet they denied the retirees on a parking lot.
Yeah, and then you know,
that's bullshit, man.
Sorry, sir,
you could not curse, please.
They're like, we got to watch the language, okay? Because we're on the radio. Sir, the video that we got, it showed. I mean, you have disabled Monumco, you know, limping back with a cane to the car because, you know, the Navy said skedaddle now. So do you know if this happened again on Sunday, or Sunday did you guys know? Okay, we can't show up early.
No, I didn't. Actually, Chris, to tell the truth, I'm still pissed off.
Oh, I see.
You know, and there's times, you remember now, tomorrow is my basic language, and when I get pissed off, I cannot speak English, man. That's just a given, you know. But this is just dishonor, man, to not to the senior citizen or whatever, but man, we fought for this country and for this island, and for us to be treated like this, and it's just I don't understand, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. We're gonna track this down and call up some people. Mm-hmm. What would your message be though to Admiral Manoni, sir? Because obviously the governor and Admiral Manoni, they gotten really close over this COVID-19, and so I had put something out that, you know, if, like you said, if the governor is gonna stick her neck out for the sailors, I think she's got to do the same for our Monumco. So what would your message be to maybe the governor and the admiral?
Just have a better plan. If we cannot be at the commissary at such a time, where else can we assembly and wait for the commissary to open, or just some kind of, because they don't want us to line up or anywhere, or tell us to nobody comes on base other than essential people until 10 o'clock. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you know what, Chris, to tell the truth, even before all this pandemic happens, we never had problems with crowded commissary. If they open the commissary like normal, we never had any problem. Now, if they're saying that the civilians or the retirees are buying everything in the commissary before the active duty people, then why don't they just open it 5 days a week or 7 days a week and have the civilian and disabled and the retirees after 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yes, I told you. There needs to be more access for you guys. What we're doing here in this limited access and creating this huge turnout of people, it's a risk. We're being exposed. Mm-hmm. There's a risk of exposure.
That's even worse than
yeah.
And the other thing is, you know, we practice the 6 foot
social distancing.
From, man, I'll tell you what, if you guys go on base and watch the military people handle themselves, there is no 6 feet. As a matter of fact, my wife took a picture of some of them. There's gag-lagging all within, I mean...
Gag-lagging.
My goodness, man. I mean, they don't practice it.
Yeah. Okay.
They expect us I think there's a little bit, no, I don't want to say it, but
No, don't.
Yeah.
I think
Please.
they treat us like third-class citizen, man.
Third class.
The
Wow.
whole island of Guam, not just, this is our darn island, man. If nothing else, just give us a little respect.
Thank you, sir.
There you
Thank you so
go.
much. There you go. That's a retired. Obviously, people are very, very fired up about this.
Mm-hmm.
And very frustrated. And you know what? I think one of the takeaways there is they asked them to only go Friday, Sunday, Saturday. They asked them to do this, they asked them to do that, and they're totally fine because these are ex-military guys, so
Yeah.
they know that the rules are rules.
Mm-hmm.
And so had they been told that they couldn't show up early to wait in line because you're limiting access and creating this traffic jam, then like they said, okay, we'll plan accordingly.
But you'd expect people to show up early because,
Of course, yeah.
because if you've seen any of the videos from before when they first started the limited access, people were lining up, people were waiting hours in line, and I know, if my dad was here, oh my goodness, I could hear him. He would be so upset,
Yeah.
and I would be with him, and he would be like, take me to the Admiral's house.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It'd be like top story KUAM every night until it's
man,
resolved.
No, yeah. So
No,
I
yes.
feel their pain.
Yeah.
I could totally feel it. I probably wouldn't curse on air about it, but
You know what I